Are we actually on, or is it doing the...
We are on.
Look, I don't know. We have a friggin' intro, all right? I need to make sure, okay? I'm sorry. Anyway, hi. It's me, John. I'm here doing the podcast again. We're there. We're talking about video games. A lot of stuff happened this past week. Most of it not very good. So we're going to talk about it, because that's what we do on Gamesline.net. But yes, it's me, John. Hi, how's it going, everybody? Hello. Hi. With me this time, we are joined by, I've got Lorelai over here. Lorelai, hello.
Hi! How's everybody doing? It's good to be back after a couple of weeks of conventions.
Yeah, you've been busy, and you've been not doing the producing, but now you are. You're here, you're producing, you're helping, and you're chatting as well, you know, helping us all out.
I'm back, and I'm excited after 2 weeks of way too much Pokemon.
No such thing.
True.
No such thing. Lily's here, down there, this time.
I'm here this time.
Yeah. Your little text boxes that our party has been joined by you, and that our HP is decreasing. You shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. It hurts.
No, it's what happens in Chrono Trigger when you get like a boss added to your party. You got to take the debuffs in order to get the special character unlocked.
Yep.
I'll take your word for it. I need to play more of Chrono Trigger. I got a little ways into it. I got to hop back on that. Where did I stop? I think I just finished the future. So I have more to do for sure. Crystal, you are here as well to round us out.
Well, howdy there, partner. It's a mighty fine evening.
Oh, so is it Southern Crystal today? Is that what we're getting?
Well, since we're talking about a horse game.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we can all be cowpokes and talk about our various steeds, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, I'm still playing the horse gacha. If y'all, so I know some of y'all are, and I also know some of y'all are not, but are at the very least aware of the goings on with it.
Oh yes,
I mean, yeah, I've mostly been afflicted with the horse with the sinister potion, and that's about it.
Look, she's my favorite too. I also really like Agnes Tachyon. She's great. I initially liked her a little bit, but then when I actually played through her story, and when they were like, "Oh, her story is actually like really touching," okay, I like her a lot now. So she's definitely my favorite so far. But I gotta play as more of the horses. I need to see what all of their deals are, I guess. Lorelai, how about you? Who's your favorite horse?
Probably so far. I forget her name. Kind of Taiki Shuttle, just because, like, I'm sorry, the American horse running with a gun at her hip and constantly eating hamburgers is the most like on the nose thing ever.
Look, the thing is that I could fuck up a hamburger anytime, you know? So,
but also when it comes down to it, Bakushin, motherfucker, like, I'm sorry, there's nothing better than the character
Bakushin,
you can use to just clear easily.
Yeah, she's a little freak, but we love her and her huge forehead.
Yes. Game's just kind of delightful, and
it is very fun. Like, again, like on a moral standpoint, and a general frustration of just wanting to play the full game. I do wish it was just a one-time purchase video game, so I could just, you know, play all these characters and all that, and not have to worry about pulling them, etc. But man, there's like, it's still like there is like no real like friction for that. It's
yeah, I've felt no need to spend money. Like, I was able to use my, you were able to reuse your first reroll over and over again if you wanted to get something good. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, okay, I had a good start. I didn't need to do anything else. It's nice and chill.
It's as close to a normal video game as one of these gacha games have ever been, I would say.
I legitimately put money in it just because, like, I have enjoyed the hell out of myself. I've gotten more than enough hours that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy the cheap pack that you can buy at the beginning.
If you want to do that, sure.
They deserve that's how I kind of roll on gacha games.
I would not go so far as to say that Cygames deserves anything, but at the very least, I will say putting money into into Cygames games does lead to them making good ass anime, like just good stuff. Okay, so
yeah, all
right. Again, morals. I'm gonna say maybe don't at all, but if you're gonna, at the very least, if it's a Cygames joint, like at least we're getting stuff like Apocalypse Hotel from them via that. So I'll hand wave the evil this time.
I've just kind of always run under a rule with gacha games that if I've spent more than like 10 hours in there having fun with it, that I'm willing to give a purchase. And that is it. If I ever hit a wall, then I will never touch a game again.
I mean, sure. I think that's like a healthy way to do it. I mean, the other way that that people say is the way to do it too is if they ever have like a big event like pack where it's like, hey, here, or they have like the monthly subscription thing where it's like, hey, you pay $5 and they just give you a bunch of shit per month. Or, oh, hey, here's like the special yearly event thing. You pay $5, you get like a bunch of shit. It's like, all right, like if you do that, that makes sense. But, you know, I've never spent any money on any gacha games. I remember I was going to put money into FGO, which is one of the worst ones, but I had a lot of fun with it. I really liked the writing, and I was like full on doing I like their product. I want to give them a little walking around money kind of thing. Like I didn't even just like what you were doing basically.
Yeah.
But then I saw how expensive rolls were, and I just went, okay, never mind. No, I'm not giving money to these fucking freaks. Like no, it was like $30 for one roll. So I was like, no, I'd rather feed myself for like a few days instead of that. Like no, don't do that. Or just buy a game. You know, like buy a few cheap games, you know, just.
Yeah, my rule, it will always be like, I always wait usually with a gacha to find out if there is a paywall. Because way too many of them have the, hey, if you even want to go through the story of it, you'll get like halfway through, and then if you haven't spent like $100, you just can't progress for like months.
FGO was like that.
And so some of them are just fucking egregiously bad. Mm-hmm. Like I had friends who got obsessed with the shitty Street Fighter one.
Oh boy.
That had like White Elena. And that one is like you hit paywalls like a couple hours in. Like it was so bad hearing them like, oh yeah, I just dropped $100 so I could progress the story. And I'm like, there's what? What the fuck?
No, don't do that.
No. Like I'm sorry, you gave me a horse racing roguelike, and I am 100% loving it.
Yeah. To answer some questions, because Nicholas is actually in the chat asking some stuff. The actual gameplay of Umamusume is it's a princess maker or like Monster Rancher type thing where you're assigning your character, you know, like to train in different, you know, they have like their stats basically, and it'll be like, oh, like go running and raise your speed, or go study and raise your intelligence or whatever. And so you just do that for a couple of times, and then you go into races, and depending on how you do, the story continues, or, you know, or sometimes you just fuck up. Like there's always a chance that your character just screws up and loses, which is kind of funny. But it's just one of those, basically. It's just a princess maker kind of thing.
Yeah, I kind of described it as It's what if Idolmaster didn't have the mediocre rhythm game that it made you do for training stuff?
Yeah, I suppose. Like my frame of reference is just immediately Monster Rancher because that's what I played as a kid.
Like, I genuinely am, like, shocked at how much I've been enjoying it. Like,
yeah, like I just hop on, do a run, you know. It's fun.
I'm looking at the Umamusume wiki right now. I didn't realize there were 131 playable characters.
Yeah, I mean, the game has been out for 4 years in Japan, and it was like it was honestly very strange how long it took to come out over here.
yeah.
But it was also like highly delayed for its initial release anyway. Like, the reason why they have all the idol stuff in there is because it was originally supposed to come out around the same time as like Love Live and stuff, and that was when all that idol stuff was very big. And now, like, you know, when it came out, it was less of a thing, and now over here it's even more so less of a thing. You know, like it's everyone's just kind of like, why are they singing?
Yep.
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't watch any of the concerts. That cancel me if you must, but I don't. I just want. I'm
going to cancel you because it's the most charming part.
I want to win. That's what I'm here for.
Like, honestly, the thing that's like, how like into the just you get. I like watching the races.
Yeah,
it opened the ability for me to like skip the races half the time, and I'm like, no, I refuse.
You get to skip it if you've gotten first place with that character in that specific race before. But also, yeah, I watch it because it's exhilarating. You know, you get to watch you want to see your girl win, and sometimes they pull off some crazy shit, and sometimes they get last place for no reason just because they don't feel like it, and you have to deal with it, and that's sports. that's
yep.
Sports. I mean, I'll actually talk about it on the anime podcast next time, but Lily and I actually watched one of the movies last night with some other friends. Oh god, it's the Umamusume, it's like the beginning of a new era or something, I think it's called. And that's why she says she likes Agnes Tachyon, because she's in that and she's insane and it's great. I was ready to just be like, oh, you know, like it'll be cute because it's, you know, these characters that I know, whatever. But I thought it was just a great, like, sports story. It was, you know, like, I would say the main girl is a little underdeveloped, but overall, I just thought it was compelling and extremely well animated, so I would recommend checking that out if you have any interest in Umamusume, or if you're just, like, a sports anime fan. I would say to check that out, because it is, like, you know, it feels like something like a Haikyuu or a Slam Dunk or something like that, for sure. I don't know. Do you have anything you want to say about the movie?
I have watched the anime yet. I'm gonna have to now. I hate that.
I mean, like John said, it was like surprising that they were doing like the sports anime teeth gritting and screaming, except they're all horses. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
But also just like really impressive animation overall. Like, yeah. I think at one point I jokingly said that this is Redline for horses.
And it is. Like, it pretty much is.
Horse Girl, Redline.
Redline, though. Oh, what a good movie. A sample fumble in chat says, New Era and Cinderella Grey are straight up good sports dramas. Yeah, Cinderella Grey is the latest anime. The first season just aired. And I know that the manga's been going on for a while, so... Yeah, you know, they just have good anime, you know, so if you really don't want to fuck with the gacha, which again, no judgment there, like you're no judgment there. You know, there's ways to interact with the horses and have a good time.
If you were to recommend to me an Umamusume to train, who do you think would be best suited to my personality?
It's a little tricky because I think you would want someone that has a lot of... You seem like someone that wants to really grind for it in a way. Like, you want to be like, I want to see this person build, you want a zero to hero kind of thing. So I could see you wanting to do Sakura Bakushin, because her whole thing is that she's innately fast, but she's also just like she's a ditz, and she also really wants to run a mile, and she does not have the stamina to do it. She only has enough to do like sprints. So I could see you being like, oh yeah, no, I'll figure it out. Like, okay, the trainer in her story basically just gaslights her at one point, because she is so obsessed with wanting to run a mile, like a longer amount of, like a longer race, that you as the trainer go, well, actually, what we're doing is we're gonna have you run this longer distance, but we're just splitting it up into multiple races. And she's just like, okay, like, yeah, that sounds great. And so that's how you get her to win. That's the kind of stuff that I like, you like, I could see you being like, I have to scheme a little to figure out how to get this horse to win properly.
Yeah,
I could see
there
that.
are a couple of them that are just like I think it's Mihono Bourbon, whose entire thing is like, I am a sprinter.
Mm-hmm.
And then so you go through all of these races that are just sprints, and all of a sudden it throws a long at you towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the biggest, like, fuck you, because I didn't look ahead.
Gotta look ahead.
And I was like, building
plan
for a sprinter. And all of a sudden it's like, you don't have shit for stamina.
Yeah, because the thing is, at the end of it, Bakushin does run a mile race, so you have to be a little prepared for it. You can't... You have to actually provide for her dream. That's what we're here for. We're here to make dreams come true.
You're selling me.
But yeah, that's how we're feeling about the horses. I mean, we can talk about more game stuff. I mean, I know we're kind of going from fun video game to the realities of the industry, but I feel like maybe we should get into the Xbox stuff, because that is the big news, and there's a lot to talk about, and we should probably get into that.
Yeah.
So last week we talked about how there was rumors that there were going to be layoffs at Microsoft, and specifically there were going to be a lot of them in the gaming sector. And this was not confirmed at the time, but this past Wednesday is when it went down, and it was really bad. Obviously any layoffs are bad, but Jesus, legit some of the worst, single big cuts I've seen, all at once. It was 9,000 people got laid off, something like that, which is just insane.
Multiple studios probably being completely shuttered, and
not probably, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So, let me see here. The Initiative, that big studio where they were like, oh, we're making a big new AAA game, here we go, and then they announced the Perfect Dark reboot or whatever. Yeah, new Perfect Dark game. Completely shuttered the studio and canceled the game.
I believe they called it a quadruple A game.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, excuse me. Yeah, I guess nobody's going to make a quadruple A game now. Or oh boy. Everwild, which is that Rare game that was their original IP, that got shuttered. Rare is still around because they're doing Sea of Thieves and stuff, but they did that, and then they had I don't know if they've had like big cuts at Rare, but some of their higher ups left the studio because of it. Specifically, Greg Mails, who has been there since like the start, was involved with Banjo-Kazooie and was the director of Sea of Thieves. Was there since like Donkey Kong Country and all that. Was doing stuff with like Solar Jetman in 1990. Like he has been working at Rare like basically his entire adult life, and now he is out of there. Same with Luis O'Connor, who has been there since Conquer for the N64. They're just losing talent who has been there from the start. Because of this. What else here? They canceled a big ZeniMax MMO that apparently had Titanfall-esque movement, which an MMO, like, I mean, MMOs and all that. I'm not an MMO guy, but they were basically saying, like, everybody loved this game, and everyone was looking forward to this. Like, even Phil Spencer was like, they had to, like, peel him away from playing the game, and now that game is just canceled. It wasn't even, like, announced. It was just... Yeah. What else here? Microsoft was apparently funding the new Romero Games game, which I don't think was which was not announced yet, I don't think, but
and now Romero Games looks like it's going to be shutting down.
No, it is shut down. Yeah, it is shut down. They closed the studio because they don't have any funding anymore because of Microsoft. So okay, I am looking at Video Games Chronicle, and they are saying that an anonymous employee did say there is a chance that another publisher could come in and save it. So this isn't 100% dead, but right now they're closed.
I really hope that somebody comes in and does save it, because like, God, it just fucking sucks to like, because it's not just like all the Microsoft subsidiaries that are getting fucked by it. It's, Romero Games is not part of Microsoft. They were getting money from them, and now they don't have any. Yeah. So it's like, what do we do? Yeah.
I'd have to imagine that Romero Games had some partnership with Microsoft because, like, maybe they were making something with like id IP, like there's been all those rumors of there being another Quake, maybe they were doing Quake or something like that. Or at the very least, maybe they just wanted to work with people who were involved with previous id stuff, like obviously you could speculate all you want, but really at the end of the day, they were getting funding and then it got pulled out from under them for no reason, for no fault of their own, because pretty much immediately, it was pretty much completely confirmed that a big reason why they are doing this is because Microsoft wants to put more of that money into AI bullshit. So it's just this is not, this is not the games weren't shaping up. Like, some of it was that, because like Perfect Dark and all that was taking ages. But the real culprit here is just Microsoft thinks that they can make more money by investing into AI and probably also replace jobs with AI. And neither of those things are going to happen in the long run. So they're firing a bunch of people, and they're probably going to be like, oh no, we need to rehire all these people in a couple years because the AI did not make us money. So
yeah, it's I'm like legitimately every day I was looking at news stories pop up and just getting angrier because it's fucking Microsoft.
It's frustrating.
Well, and then you look at their fucking executives talking about how, like, oh yeah, we're gonna like very publicly talking about how AI is like the greatest thing and gonna, save video games, and I just want to fucking throw up.
Yeah, one of the executives posted on LinkedIn, like, you should use AI tools to get a new job. Okay, buddy.
Just insane shit. God damn it.
I mean, it's so hard to even have a productive conversation about this because in so many ways it is so antithetical to actually making anything to smart, like, long-term sense. It's you can talk in circles over and over about how aggravating it is, but it's one of those things where, as of right now, where we are currently in, like, the breaking news about it, you can just kind of only angrily shake your head and, shake your fist at the sky, but there's nothing productive to be immediately done this close to it happening.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like, honestly, it's hard to talk about too, because there's not really a discussion, because it's all of us just going, that's really fucked up. Yep.
Well, I mean, even on the internal side, people don't know what's happening. Like, they're finding out about, they're finding out about it from journalists on Twitter.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're just like, oh, my Slack doesn't work. And now it's, oh, I no longer have a job. And you're learning it the same day that you need to deal with it and the industry needs to deal with it.
Watching some of my friends lose like half their teams. And like, I was just watching, friends on Twitter like, oh God, I can't even look at the news stories going around, so I need to take a break from social media. And then like a day later, after the actual thing goes down, it's like, oh, that's what you were yeah, I get why you want to get the hell away from here. It just sucks. It's fucking vile.
It's bad management and putting too much faith into snake oil.
Like, if I hadn't already canceled all of my Microsoft subscription stuff due to the BDS boycott, I sure as fuck would now.
Yeah.
Like, look at us bragging about how much money we're still making, meanwhile shutting down all this shit. It's fuck you.
Xbox made crazy good money this past year. They were like super in the black, and they're shutting down all these studios. It's just, yeah. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to completely say that, oh, Phil Spencer didn't do anything, because obviously I think if you're in a leadership position like that, you should be gunning to keep as much of your workforce as possible, and he obviously did not do a good enough job of that. But at the same time, like, you just look at what is going on there, and it's just like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's also he's probably bought in on the AI shit too. I shouldn't be handing anything to anyone in this situation. Yeah. It's just all AI bullshit. It's all just AI bullshit. You don't have
to hand it to any of them.
I don't have to hand it to anybody, because it's literally just everyone being like, I think AI is going to fix everything. I think the computer is going to tell me what to do, and I'll do it, and I'll keep getting paid a bunch of money for a job that I'm not even doing, that the computer is doing. And it's just like,
I mean, there are so many examples of companies who've just gone all in on things like AI and whatnot, generative AI and stuff like that. And every single person from those companies has come out and been like, actually, this led to 100 times more work. Like, it's just like, first of all, you have to correct your AI constantly. You've got... that costs even more money half the time. It's just so stupid.
It is remarkable to have a technological innovation that makes work less efficient.
Yeah. Oh, but the tech bros are quite possibly the dumbest people in the world.
It'll get better, we promise.
Yeah, it'll get better. Like, it's just making life so much easier for everyone. You can just ask your chat GPT to do your homework for you.
I think the computer people have run out of ideas. They had a pretty good run for a couple of decades there, but when's the last time they made something good?
It's been a long time. It's been a very long time, and then eventually everything good gets bought by one of the people and made bad.
Yeah, does anyone else have anything that they want to add about this one? Because it's just... It's just frustrating. No, fair enough. Yeah, like having to just dwell on it it's rough, and obviously, yeah, and everyone who's affected, hopefully they find work quickly. But just bad leadership all around.
John, give me some good news.
Let's see here. How do you feel about? Okay. Here, I'll let you pick between two. Okay. Would you like to talk about a shithead getting owned, or would you like to hear about some games coming to the Switch Online thing potentially?
Tell me about Neil Sucks Man.
Yeah, so we all think Neil Druckmann sucks ass here. He's a bad writer, and he has really bad political opinions, and I think he sucks ass, just in general. So I will just say it's very funny that he just recently announced, I'm stepping away from working on the Last of Us TV show to go focus on games. And it's totally just because everyone has been talking mad shit about him and how bad the show is, and how, like, Pedro Pascal, like, straight up asked him to his face, do you actually care about art?
I missed that one. I love you, Pedro Pascal. Pascal, literally the best guy in Hollywood.
Yeah, like, just in a conversation with Druckmann, just, like, straight up said, hey, do you actually care about art? Like, Yeah, no, absolutely.
No, he cares about ego.
He cares about ego, and he cares about Zionism, and that's what he cares about, so fuck him. But, yeah, I don't know. It would be very funny if, now that he's gone, if season 3 of that show is just incredible, and because he's not involved anymore, that would be really funny. But I mean, it's also built on top of The Last of Us 2, so it's even without his hands manipulating from above, it's still got a lot of force pushing against it. So
still got that Druck suck in there.
Yeah, exactly. His stench still continues to seep into it. Yeah, that's kind of funny that he just sucked so much that now he's got to go back to video games, where unfortunately the general standard is lower, which, not for everybody, because, like I said, all of us here, we're talking mad shit about that guy, but it's just very funny that he tried to go somewhere else and immediately everyone was just like, what? No, what? It's funny. Let's talk about other stuff that we've been playing. Let's jump back and forth here a little bit. Let's see here. Lily, you have been playing some RPGs.
I have.
Which is not a surprise. I don't say that to own you. I just say you're one of the RPG people of all time. So I trust your opinions.
I know what I like. That's what I can attribute that to. And yeah, if we're continuing the negativity spiral of the theme of this episode so far, have you ever had the experience where you are engaging with something and you are overwhelmingly positive just in the context of just you're just happy to be experiencing something new and novel, and then it feels like you get to the back half of it, and then you realize with context that you just kind of don't really like this. That's kind of been my experience with Dragon Quest, unfortunately. And again, I want to say this as completely and comprehensively as I can here. The reason it's so complicated for me to say that is because, ironically, this game is not doing anything wrong. If I were to talk about it, purely from a game design perspective, from a user experience perspective, that game's wonderful. The art direction is spectacular. It's just kind of one of those games where you enjoy breathing it in. But and I think I've talked about this slightly before, but like, I kind of grew up on like the Final Fantasy melodrama, the Xenogears melodrama, all of that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I finished to the second act where it just drops like the end and then immediately a to be continued. I just had like the profound experience of taking a walk afterward and just kind of being like, I don't think it would be possible for me to exist like in this world that they're talking about. Like, it's so bleached black and white in such a fundamental way where I just kind of sat there and I was like, I don't think I can believe like in any of these characters. Like, it's not doing anything particularly wrong from a character writing perspective per se, but it's like, I've seen the combat princess trope. I've seen the thief with a heart of gold trope. I've seen a lot of these different character archetypes. And it took me until I beat what the game positions as like the final boss before injecting you into the third act, where I just kind of like I think at the time I finished it, I literally like curled up and rubbed my temples, and I just kind of went, oh, it's that straightforward. It's just we walked into that guy's house and he loudly thumped his chest and he said how evil he is and how he's gonna spank all of us, and then I beat him up, and then we left, and then we went, what a great adventure that was. Credits roll. And I don't think it's necessarily like a need for every game to be like subversive, because that's how you get the game that's clinically and chronically embarrassed by every single thing that it does.
Mm-hmm.
But in that same kind of way, it is so uprightly like untransgressive in every way that I kind of just, I can't really imagine any of these people as real people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think that this would be a little bit easy? Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was going to say that's kind of the problem with Dragon Quest in general. Like, I love the Dragon Quest games, but they are so extremely generic with just about everything. It's all tropes, and it's the same ones with each game. That is kind of the same issue that I have with them, in that I play through them, I love them to death, but there's like no real tension or anything with when you get to the end of, like, there's never a question as to what's going to happen, I think is the best way to phrase it.
Well, that was the thing that shocked me, because the third act is the world is saved. Let's see if we can save it even harder and negate even more of the consequences that didn't exist in the vanilla story. You are double saving the universe.
Do you think that the simplicity of Dragon Quest would be easier to swallow if this game wasn't so long?
Yes.
I think that so here's the funny thing here. Ironically to me, no. Because a thing that I've said before, and a thing that I think is kind of crucially important about RPGs, is the journey. Part of the journey with these kinds of games is the ability to turn behind you and say, my God, I have come so far from where I've started. The horizon is that far behind me. And all of my favorite games, like, you know, you have Tales of Symphonia, you have, like, all of these games where the state of the world changes so much from your understanding at the outset that it completely makes it feel like a journey that is as long as it is. And I don't think that it's an obligation to make RPGs more long to arbitrarily create that feeling. But the reason it doesn't work here is because, yes, it has that lengthening of the horizon, because you're going to all of these places, you're meeting all of these new people, every problem that you encounter is a unique one. At no point does it seem to have any interest in you being interested in this world beyond a completely facile level. You are sitting there, and everything that you understood about this world at hour 1 is still true at hour 50, and there's no surprise, there's no prestige to this particular kind of magic trick. It's just, it is what it is. The Lord of Darkness, that's his name. Like, of course he's evil, silly. Why would you expect any kind of nuance from the guy? He just wants the world to be dark now.
Mm-hmm.
But then, at the same time, you kind of beg the question, like, why would you want to stop him? He's not, like, I mean, he kills people, obviously, but he has no motive to doing it in the same way that, like, he's basically like an animal that can talk. He's an avatar for the concept of evil.
Mm-hmm. I do
it
kind
sounds
of
like
wonder...
it would get really boring.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the thing is, it was like what also lent itself to that kind of like coming out of a fugue state, because I like the idea of combat scenarios being a puzzle to solve. Like, part of like the enjoyment that even I, someone who hasn't really played Persona a lot or the SMT series, every one of those fights is kind of designed by its nature to be something that can and will destroy you if you are not paying attention, but you can completely obliviate that difficulty if you're paying attention, if you are engaging to your strengths, or you are exploiting the enemy's strengths. And again, here's the thing. Here's where it's like my opinion and not objectivity here. That is their design pillar. Dragon Quest, by its nature, by its design document, like Bible, they want Dragon Quest to be a game that is a mountain that you can ascend as long as you keep trying. And so, like, yeah, like there is like mechanics in Dragon Quest 11 called like Draconian Quest, where you can increase the difficulty. You can make it so you can't buy anything from stores, so you have to make every item that you use. You do all these things. And I can imagine that can be a heightening factor, but difficulty is not an automatic free pass for immersion here. Mm-hmm. And again, I play RPGs to be immersed. Like, I want to exist in a fantastic space, and unfortunately for me personally, it just wasn't fantastic to a degree where it was just like, I was almost disappointed it took me 50 hours to have this revelation, but around the point where I realized I'm playing like every fight with the auto battle AI on, and it's just kind of doing a better job than I am because I have no incentive to pay attention. And like, that's why it's so difficult, because I know people love these games. I know people like playing these games almost like bedtime stories. It's like you play them an hour a night, and then you go to sleep, and then you do it again in the morning, and it kind of has that kind of vibe to it. It has that up and down cresting pace that works so well for that kind of playstyle. But every story ends with, and then they lived happily ever after, and you just kind of reach a point. Like, in my personal emotional maturation, I'm not nostalgic for stories like that, and I don't crave stories like that. So, to me, even though it's like, you know, this perfectly polished diamond, it's still a diamond that I'm just like, I don't really need this, and then I just drop it on the beach and walk away.
No, so what I was going to say is, are you potentially interested in what they were saying about Dragon Quest XII? Because they were saying they wanted it to be more adult. And so do you think maybe that they would move past a lot of these tropes? Or do you just not see them doing that at all? Especially because we haven't heard anything from that in like 5 years or something. So there's a good chance that they just went, actually, what if it's Sunshine and Rainbows again? Hang on.
I mean, honestly, I would rather have Sunshine and Rainbows than what Square Enix refers to as adult with their last game.
That's exactly what I mean. Like, adult is such like a nebulous term, because it's like, would I think that Final Fantasy VII is a better game if Cloud says fuck now? Well, actually, now that I say that, that probably would be pretty funny. But my point being is the conception of adult and trying to engage with an adult story is kind of like a weirdly juvenile opinion in the first place. I think, more than anything, you should be trying to write a true story. You can do it in the fantastic, but your story needs to be true. Like like stories are made out of a series of true sentences, even if the paint strokes you use to construct them are by their nature fantastical. And that's kind of why, you know, again, the games that mean the most to me, like again, take something like Xenoblade 3. Xenoblade 3 is basically a game at its heart about why it's so important to lean on other people and how systems will go out of their way to destroy you for trying to break the status quo. Given everything we just talked about with Xbox, that's a pretty true fucking sentence. But a story by comparison that is the sentence, just keep doing it and it'll be fine eventually. Like, that may be motivating, but I don't know how true that actually feels, especially when the conceit of your story is, well, a lot of people died, but if things go bad, you can always go back in time and do it again.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Like, I definitely think of the things, and you talked about it a bit earlier, though, with JRPGs, like, the biggest problem they have now is now everyone sits there and looks at the quality based on the length they have. And so, gotta make our JRPGs need to be 100 hours long and whatnot half the time these days. And, like, I think Dragon Quest suffered the most from that.
I mean, I feel like in some senses that could just be like recency bias. There were definitely a lot of old JRPGs that are too fucking long, TM.
Oh yeah. There are ones that are too fucking long, but their too fucking long was like 60 hours, not 110.
Right. And again, I feel like in another way that kind of comes, like, not even like a JRPG specific issue, just in like a... Like, let's speak bluntly here. Let's imagine a hypothetical. Imagine every video game is free. Forever. You can own it and you can play it in whatever way you would like to. And in that parenthetical, you no longer need to view JRPGs or video games in general as a commercially viable product. So, when you have, in real life, your $20 bill and there's a Steam sale, you might be stricken with anxiety as you scroll through and you're like, what game on this list is going to be worth the time investment and the $20 that I have? And do I want to divvy up this $20 and make it worthwhile? And so it is that kind of friction that happens between, is this video game art or is this video game product? Because that's the kind of pipeline that makes Umamusume's and makes the perpetual game and makes Fortnite's, because that game is infinite. That game can have you playing it forever and generally be having a, like, you know, better than mediocre time.
Yeah.
And resultantly from that, we see even single player games inflating their play count hours because they want to be regarded not as art, but as product. And when you have to contend with that reality, you have to deal with the fact, like, take, for example, there are a series of games that I really love. They're like visual novels, the Milk series. That game has brought me a lot of joy as a piece of art that I engage with. But then, would I still feel the same way if that game was $20 instead of $1? And the unfortunate kind of insidious thing about it all is that we're all just kind of fighting to appreciate things as we appreciated them when we didn't have to worry about the commerce, the economics, the very nature of needing to buy the thing that you can like engage with and enjoy. And it's kind of like, it's difficult to just say, should games be shorter? Because if it's part of your design statement for this to be an epic in the traditional sense, yeah, it kind of does need to be long. But then we are all, people with only so much time. We're all people that would, like to just enjoy something in the scant hours that we steal away from this world so that we can play a video game for a little bit. That sometimes I can understand why you just say, can't this game just be fucking 8 hours long?
Mm-hmm.
I will say, though, that, you brought up Xenoblade and 3 specifically, and it's just like, that game is a quadrillion hours long, but it has stuff to say, and that makes it feel worth it. And, you're talking about Dragon Quest here, and you're saying it took you until halfway through to realize it's not necessarily about the length, it's what they do with it. It's the quality of the story. It's the quality of what it is. Like, you can make something short or long. It doesn't matter how long or short it is. What matters is if it fucking matters. Like, that's what matters. Yeah.
And that's what they've been saying for years. It's not the length, it's how you use it. Everyone heard it here.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, but genuinely though, like, that is absolutely, like, it's on both sides. Like what you said with the Milk games, like, those are shorter games, and yes, they are cheaper and all that, but like, like, hell, okay, this is a slightly different thing, but it's like, I bought Toho Luna Nights for not that much money, and that's one of my favorite games ever, and then I went, okay, I'll buy, like, the collector's edition or whatever, just because I love it so much, and that felt worth it, even though I already owned the game and I bought another copy of it. It's like, it's not the price, it's the quality. That's what matters.
That's the further expanding nightmare with platforms like Steam, is like, with those games in particular, like, this kind of thing makes me so angry, where it's like, okay, this is a visual novel, it's a narrative experience, it's an hour and a half long.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so people finish it and then immediately refund it because that's technically within the refund policy, and because the game is $1, it gets backcharged to the guy who made its account, and because he doesn't live in America, the cost of the backdraft is worth more than the cost of the game, so it is literally costing them money to have the game have a price? Like, that is like the evil that we have to contend with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's obviously a point, where it's like, okay, yeah, this is an hour-long visual novel, and I'm going to spend $50 on it. But, there's layers to this argument, for sure.
When it comes to producing a sense of an epic, I think it's really more about density than length to me, because, like, the Odyssey is not that long. You can read that over a weekend, but it is very dense. A lot of things happen.
Sure.
And I mean, I think in the same way, a lot of stories and the way we conceive, like, and perceive art in the first place aren't necessarily by the length of time, but our relationship with the experience of feeling time pass. And it's why as I described, I don't even know if I said it on here. I might have said it in the Gamesline, like, server, but the reason I play so many games simultaneously, like, yeah, technically speaking, if I just put a couple of days aside and played a really long game in like 5 sittings, yeah, it would technically be done. But my relationship with that time, because it was not spread across a period of time, it is compressed in my head, even though I technically speaking spent the same amount of time, even if it was, well, because again, to give some perspective here, I started playing Dragon Quest XI in November. I am just now hitting the end of the second act, as of a week ago. So the thing that we experience with that is like, yeah, you're right. It technically doesn't need to be like, there's no like mathematically optimal length for a JRPG depending on, the story beats you want to hit.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that kind of density lends itself better when, like, because again, you can't, unfortunately, the undying problem of being an artist, you kind of can't control how people engage with your art. The thing that people always quote about, David Lynch is true. You know, you can't stop someone from watching Mulholland Drive on their fucking phone. But that may not be the ideal experience. And it's that kind of fight that you have to choose where it's like, my game might not be as good to someone who has a tendency to binge everything. But we still need the some attempt to achieve like what we want to achieve with this story. And again, ultimately, I do think you're right. And I think that the ultimate problem is with the infinite complexity of video games, it is just simply easier to make them longer rather than dense.
Yeah.
And then I got really sad when I finished that act, and I booted up Blood, and I had a much better time.
Do you want to talk about Blood?
Well, I can say that I am perhaps futilely attempting to play through every build engine game, even if that means that I have to play through William Shatner's Tech War. But that's a story for another time.
I'm looking forward to hearing you talk about William Shatner's Tech War. So which ones have you played so far?
So far in the build engine games, I have played through all of Duke Nukem 3D. I have played I've played the build engine version of Power Slave. I've played through Blood. I played through Shadow Warrior for exactly how long it took me to hear exactly 3 of the racist ass voice lines in it.
It's not good.
I closed it.
It's not good.
And then I think I can only describe this as like a state of disenchantment. I played Redneck Rampage.
Oh yeah.
And that game sucks, but
yeah, it does.
I think the funniest part about it is that it made Slayers X like a better game just because now I knew that game was real.
Put it into perspective.
Yeah, and that's really all it takes is some perspective.
Yeah. Slayers X is fun though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the only game I've ever played where someone says, "Your grandma's a toilet, dummy."
God. It's good. It's good.
What are the distinguishing elements of the build engine?
So, build games, as compared to like a Doom engine game, is it has a lot more emphasis placed on like digitally and like through a technical scale altering the level. So like some of the earliest levels in Duke Nukem 3D, for example, you are physically deforming the terrain and blowing things up to make ways through. In things like Blood, you will regularly see like the path forward is like blowing up a hole in a wall, and that's kind of not how you're meant to engage with like Doom engine games by their relative comparative purity. Build engine games also, if you are super in as I was, are games that exist to kill you with doors over and over again. I think Build is one of the few game experiences I've ever had where a sliding door gently bashing you on the knee is enough force to explode you into gibs. But yeah, like a lot of that kind of level design is kind of... So in Doom engine games, they describe it as Doom cute, which is basically like the thing where you have like myhouse.wad, where it is a Doom engine game trying to create a real space rather than like a series of orthogonal dungeons. Build engine games typically are designed from the ground up to be representative of a real space. Like, the first level of Duke Nukem 3D is basically like you walking through a porn theater and blowing it up. Like, you're in like a horrible part of Vegas. And rather than doing like the representative kind of level design that something like Doom would do, they're very much about making you feel like you're in a real space. It increases the amount of interactivity. You have like an items menu you need to deal with. Those are all kind of like the hallmarks of Build.
One of the big things about Duke 3D at the time was that you could interact with things in the environment. Like there was like a pool table in that first level, and you can interact with each of the pool balls and like actually shoot them into the holes, and you can walk up to the toilets and flush them, and you can look in the mirror and you can actually see Duke reflected on the mirror, and then he can go, damn, I'm looking good. Like, you can interact with so many things, and that was really novel at the time. And I mean, it's I've only really played like a lot of Duke 3D. I still really like Duke 3D. It's just because of how good the map design is and how much fun it is to just go around and do stuff in those levels.
It's kind of like an interesting proto DNA to like immersive sims in a way. Like,
yes, absolutely.
Like the big part of immersive sims is, do not think about this like a video game. Think about this like a place that you can actually manipulate. And that kind of starts in that kind of era where we were finally stopping, like we were thinking about video games as virtual spaces rather than a series of game design engagements.
Yeah. They're cool games, I mean, there's a lot to them that's, especially when we're talking about Duke Nukem and Shadow Warrior, especially, that's juvenile and has not aged well, but they're still really well designed games that are still like good to go back to and check out, I would say, for sure.
I mean, I will say that if anyone is even remotely curious about build as an engine, I would absolutely recommend playing the Night Dive version of Blood. I will say, if you have any amount of ego in the difficulty selection, abandon that at the door, because Blood will absolutely murder you with hit scanners if you pick anything above the medium difficulty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Gotta love it.
It's not about the difficulty in those old games. Sometimes they just design them wrong.
I mean, I wouldn't even say that. It's like weird. Very much with those kinds of shooters, I almost think that the difficulty is directly tied with your personal desire to look for secrets. Mm-hmm. If you look for secrets and you find every secret on Hurt Me Plenty in Vanilla Doom, that game is a cakewalk. So if you play like something like Doom, and you want to play on ultraviolence, that is you basically making a promise to the game. I will at least look for this many secrets in order to continue. Because the biggest part of that game is like, again, you are doing the acts of violence, but you also need to maintain your resources, and on higher difficulties, it's not like the enemies are more spongy. Thank you, modern game design. There are more of them, and there is less ammo. So you are basically saying, I will be this invested in managing the actual seeking part of the seek and destroy gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Interesting games, interesting history. Lorelai, how about you? What's going on in your end?
So I just started playing Persona 5 The Phantom X mobile game.
The other gacha game that launched on the exact same day.
Yep. And like, so far it seems like another one of those games, like I think Rose talked about it last week too, with it seems like one of those games where I don't have to spend money to go through the story stuff if I don't want to. And that is what I am doing. If I have to, it's going to make me feel very depressed and scared for the Suikoden game. But like that's part of why I wanted to dig into this, because of the Suikoden guys going, hey, the only reason you can play the game with all the free shit, you can get through the story, you aren't going to run into any walls. I need to play one of these that's saying that to make sure it's true. That's where I'm at with this, and I like Persona 5 well enough that I like the Persona battle system well enough that I'm interested to see how it transfers to a phone game, because I'm kind of scared that if I get like a 5-star free draw or something, that it's going to trivialize the entire battle system of these games. Like there's a lot of things in it that I'm actually interested in seeing what they're doing. Mostly just out of fear for what the Suikoden game could be. And even then, like so far, I'm enjoying it. I can't get over the Subway Slammer, which is still the only thing I've done.
It's fucking insane.
It's killing me. I am cackling constantly. Every line of dialogue about the Subway Slammer is just absolutely leaving me going, what the fuck did I just read? What is happening? But like so far, it's got the same issue that every Persona game has, in that I've played for like 4 hours now and have gone it and have done like 2 fights. God damn, you guys gotta get better at starting your games with stuff. Like, there's gotta be more. I'm sorry. I
think Metaphor did a better job of that.
Yes, Metaphor did a much, much better job of that. But like, it's legitimately frustrating to be like, this is a fucking mobile game, y'all. Let me fight shit. Like, let me do something. You've telling me I've got energy systems that I'm dealing with, and yet I haven't done anything that uses them. Like, like it's very. I like the. So far I'm liking what I've played, but it's still just Persona, and it's one that I think as the weeks go by and I get further into it, that I'll have more to actually say about it, other than the Subway Slammer is the funniest goddamn thing in the world. And every time I hear that, I'm just cackling.
To give context to this particular character, there is a legitimate issue in a lot of countries that have, like that push public transit like this, like for it, specifically Japan, where people were just kind of use the hustle and bustle of getting on and off of a train and, trying to get into the subway as an excuse to just shove people around, and then to have the ability to say, oh, but no, it was an accident, don't worry, like just to use that as an excuse to bully people, basically.
Yeah.
And there's also a lot of men who will do it as a sexual, to kind of get one over on women specifically, to just be like, oh yeah, like it goes alongside a lot of the issues with groping on trains and that sort of stuff. So it is a legitimate problem to talk about. This is something that could absolutely be handled in a way that could be legitimate and that would have something to say. But in this specific instance, they made this guy self-identify as the Subway Slammer, and he talks about how the subway is his for the slamming, and he just has a beef with like a 12-year-old girl because she doesn't want, like, what is it, just because she doesn't want him to slam anymore? Like, it's just like he's just like, how dare you get in the way of my slamming?
Look, you gotta slam. Like, welcome to the jam, man. Like I am sorry. I really just hope they reintroduce Pogs so I can get an actual Subway Slammer. It's not well written, this first chapter. It's very hilarious, but bad.
Is the tone of the game generally comedic like this?
No, it's meant to have you take it seriously. It's like, it gives you like the look forward in time to what's going to happen at the end of the month if you don't stop the guy, but there's not a time limit. If you don't stop the guy, he's going to bump into a lady with a stroller and her baby's going to die because it went flying down an escalator.
So this is not like Toku style comedic melodrama. This is very sober and serious.
I have no idea what the tone it's going for is, and that's kind of the problem with why I think the writing is really bad.
I see.
So the one thing that I again will say is that very funny instance happened where the current writer of the game went onto Twitter and like vague posted about the reaction to the Subway Slammer because he got brought on in chapter 3. Like, I guess a separate person did the first 2 chapters, and then this person came on for chapter 3. And this person, I think, is also the same person who did the writing for Persona 5 Strikers, which was the Muso spin-off, which had really good writing. Yeah. Is the thing. Like, it had really good writing.
Arguably better writing than the original Persona 5 release.
Yeah. And just straight up basically just pleaded with people like, that guy doesn't work on the game anymore, like, just stick through it until we get to chapter 3, please, because I take over, like, just straight up just being like, dog, I do way better than that guy, like, don't just wait, the Subway, like, I like, just like, dog, I thought the Subway Slammer sucked too, don't worry, like, it's like, dude, you're talking about your own game.
I mean, even looking at it's not like he's bumping them. He's like doing like a football tackle.
Yeah. He's like full on shoulder tackle. He's shoulder checking them. Shit. It's like, man, that is some good hockey form. Like, it's outright like funny how tonally dissonant the writing of the first chapter is so far, because, like, as I said, it feels like they want you to take it seriously, but every line of dialogue is so fucking ridiculous that it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't think it was intentional. I think they're playing it straight-faced, like, you should take this guy seriously, and it just takes me out so much.
Yeah. And especially this game coming out now, which I think this came out in other countries before Metaphor came out. But
yes,
you know, like we were talking earlier about, like, oh, you know, I wish that Umamusume had a version that was just go buy the game, pretty much. It's like, A, you could just play Persona 5. And then B, if you want a different experience that's similar, you could just play Metaphor. Like, there are full releases that are these things, basically, that are better experiences, I would say, you know? Like, but at the same time, like, you know, like, obviously there's people that don't have the money and they want to be able to experience stuff too, for free, etc. But, like, I guess we just have to wait and see how people react to this game once Chapter 3 rolls out. And I guess we also need to wait and see how people react to Chapter 2. Because if Chapter 2 is crazy, like if they have a character like the Subway Slammer in Chapter 2, I'm ready for that. But I don't know. It just seems like a mess. It just seems like a mess.
Like, I think it's a really interesting thing. Like, it is, like, in that boat of, as I said, I'm interested in it because it is being sold as, like, a full-fledged JRPG experience. Like, you're getting, and you kind of are. It feels like I'm playing Persona 5, just with slightly more limited movesets. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't feel bad. Like, it very well could end up being something I really enjoy and keep playing outside of the story stuff. So far, I don't think it's going to be a thing I log in and do my dailies like I've been doing with Umamusume, because I can sit there and watch the horse racing and, like, there's an actual intensity to it. Whereas this, I'm, like, kind of doing some boring Persona battles. Mm. That if the story's not interesting, I'm probably not going to, like, I'm probably just going to go, hey, I'm going to play the story stuff, and then I'm going to come back up 2 months later when the next story stuff launches.
Yeah. Which is normal, I would say.
Yeah.
All right, Crystal, how about you? What you playing?
Ridge Racer Type 4.
Ridge Racer. Yeah, right.
I have started a rivalry with the friends to get the best times in the Ridge Racer Type 4 pack racing team campaign. And
That's
what
fun.
I am learning about myself is that I am the Vegeta of Ridge Racer. She is so much better at Ridge Racer than me. All I can do is run these laps again and again and again, slowly shaving off seconds, but still being far behind her. But I'm still having fun with it.
Right.
It
Yeah,
does
how you
make me
feeling?
think about how once consoles started getting networked, it was common for racing games to have online features like, this person on your friends list had this time. Can you beat it?
Mhm.
And that is something that is a good idea on paper, but in practice, I felt so distant from the other person because this competition was completely mediated through the game systems. So actually just having this set up the old-fashioned way and like trash talking each other in a Discord chat as we race asynchronously is so much more rewarding.
That's fun. Yeah. How are you feeling about the style? Because everyone talks about the style of Ridge Racer Type 4.
Ridge Racer Type 4 is amazing. It's not a big deal at all to do a million laps because you can soak in the vibes. The way that they light it is, they don't light games like that anymore.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. And the music, when you hit the Ridge Racer on the shooting hoops, it always hits.
It's good as hell. It's good as hell. God, what a gorgeous game. Just in general.
It's I miss old racing games, and I'm sorry. Shu was right. Everyone should be excited about Ridge Racer. It needs to come back.
If it came back, it wouldn't be good, though. It would be just like every
true.
other racing game, which is microtransaction, RPGL.
Like, it's so sad where racing games have gone. Like, I got the new Gran Turismo, and I was just left sad. Like,
Yeah.
What sucked so bad about it?
it's just mediocre. Like, half the good shit is microtransaction. The racing doesn't feel half as good. It's weird. Like, it feels weird. I want a day where they come out where, remember like a few years ago where PlayStation introduced like a new car driving franchise and the guy came out at E3 and just sounded so horny about cars?
Drive
That's
Club.
the enthusiasm I want for a car game.
Drive Club was good, too.
Yeah, Drive Club ruled. Like, I want racing games of yore, kinda.
Mhm.
Like, I think I might get that with the new Tokyo Extreme Racer, which I've only played with a little with the early access stuff when I was there, but I'm kind of hoping that rules.
I also think that racing games, in addition to all the mechanical issues, they've lost their swag, right? Because there's so much focus on officially licensed cars. They certainly don't have the Ridge Racer Type 4 lighting. They also don't really have the music.
Mhm.
And you need the music because, you know, it's a car game. You're kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. But yeah, they should do a straight port. No fucking around with it too much. I just want to play it on whatever the hell, or just, emulate it. Whichever comes first. I mean, emulation kind of comes first, but, it would be nice if more people just played it on modern platforms as well.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Still chipping away at Raidou Kuzunoha for me. I'm kind of getting a little less warm on the game as it goes. Like, we're talking about how SMT games are all about figuring out that puzzle and that being a really fun element of it. There's a lot less of that in this game. It's just, oh hey, I like, because you have to run with a team of like every type of demon, because you have to use them to solve the like puzzles in the overworld. And so I just keep my roster full of all the different demons that, you know, like I'll just upgrade my demons every time. And because I do that, I don't got to worry about any fights whatsoever, because now they're just, I always have something that's strong against the opponent, and I'm just slashing. You know, I'm over here just slashing. So the combat does get pretty repetitive. It's way better than it was in the original version of the game. Don't get it twisted. But it's still just hack and slash kind of stuff. It's not anything too special.
What distinguishes bad hack and slash from good hack and slash?
It would just be variety and challenge, and yeah, I would say those are the two things. Variety and challenge. I mean, I would say you don't even need both of them at the same time. Just there needs to be friction, or there needs to be a lot of cool stuff to do.
Yeah, and if there could be a third pillar to that, I would absolutely say that third pillar is juice.
Mm-hmm. That is kind of one of the problems with especially the first Raidou game, which I know they brought a lot of the stuff from the second into this one.
It's mostly just combat.
But I'm more interested in seeing if they remaster the second one, what it is like, because it's not just the combat that makes the second one a much, much better game. Like, I love the first, partially because Raidou is, like, my favorite of the Shin Megami Tensei protagonists, but
he's got unbelievable swag. Like, that is the thing, is he is just cool as fuck, and I like to play as him.
Yeah.
So,
the second game is just such a massive, massive improvement over the first in every way. It's very much it's very much not like some of the other trilogies of the PlayStation era, you know, duologies of the PlayStation era, where they had a lot more in common with each other, like the, you know, Devil Survivor, you know, the other ones are just like, they flow better into each other as game to game, where Raidou is the one that had like the biggest improvement from the first game to the next.
Yeah, I think the question kind of is, like, I think we are going to get more Raidou in the future because the director was so adamant about wanting to do more. But the question is just basically between, are they going to remaster 2 and then do 3, or are they just going to do 3? So, I don't know. I mean, I guess it would be cool for them to remaster 2 and then do 3, but bro is like fiending to just make a new Raidou game, it seems. So, I mean, like, sure, man, like, go ahead, but I mean, I don't know. Like, at the very least, like, just port 2. Because that game is so expensive and old, and, you know, people aren't, which, you know, isn't a problem for a lot of people, not for me, but I get, you know, if they want people to experience the fullness of the Raidou mythos, they should present that game again in a modern way, like at the very least in a way that people can purchase it in an easy way today.
Yeah.
What puts Raidou 2 so far ahead of the first one?
Honestly, I think it is just the subsystems more than the exploration of the world, how different solutions for how many more solutions for problems there are, and how many, like, it's a lot more, the outside of combat stuff is a lot more varied, rather than in the first one, in, like, you can transfer the second one's combat to the first one, but the outside of combat stuff is just, there's a lot less to it.
Okay.
One thing is that I haven't played 2 at all, but Rose told me that they actually have the the law and chaos stuff going on in 2, which there's none of that in the first one. So it's more of an SMT game, I guess.
Now you're scaring me. The law and the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
How many times can they do that one?
A quadrillion million.
So many.
I will continue to stand on the neutral path, because that is the path of humanity. So that is where I stand.
John, defender of humanity.
Yep.
I stand with people. I don't stand with any gods. I stand with us. All right? That's what matters to me. Except in no, never mind. Actually, no. I just do neutral no matter what. Whenever I try to.
Not me. I'm always doing those demon routes.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Okay. The thing is, though, is like if I had to side with one of them, it would be chaos. It's just like they're just extremely survival of the fittest, and I don't stand with that fully. But again, if I had to side with one of them, I'd rather have that than like having to be completely subservient to YHVH. I was gonna press the button.
Is there a game that has sort of a radical reinterpretation of what law and chaos means?
I don't think they have really done that yet. I would love for them to try, but
that'd be nice.
They've done some cool stuff in the past. Like the law ending of SMT2 is like one of my favorite endings, because you team up with you team up with Satan, who is like the literal biblical Satan, like the because if you know Christianity, that the term a Satan is just more of an adversary and more of a like a bump in the road to that God can put in front of you, instead of it being just like, oh yeah, this is the devil. And so you team up with Satan to enact God's will, and you basically like do a quote unquote rapture, where you bring all the believers up into a space station, and then God goes, all right, well, we're just destroying the earth now. We got everyone on our side. We're nuking it. And so then you do, and then Satan goes, well, okay, we do that, but God, because of what you did, I'm going to pass judgment against you. And then you fight God in the law ending.
Okay.
Which is cool as hell. Like, I respect that a lot, to be like, yeah, we are your agents, but also we stand for judgment of what is wrong, and fuck you. You killed everybody, so we're gonna judge you. Which, that's interesting. I'd rather I like having stuff like that in SMT, where it's just not just completely black and white, like, oh, you know what? I do think that being subservient is way easier, and I'm just going to do that. Or, oh, I think everyone should just be ripping each other apart, and, there should be more nuance.
Honestly, I'm a bit of a law person. I yearn to submit my will to someone who will just make all the decisions for me.
I'm not ready for that. I'm here to fight. I want us all to work together and find our own path. That is what I believe in.
I mean, I guess it all boils down to the stop sign question.
What's that question?
So, to determine if you are a lawful person or a chaotic person, you have to imagine the following scenario. It's late at night. There's no one around you. You know within a reasonable shadow of a doubt that there is no one that is going to legally get you in trouble for this. There's a stop sign on the road. Do you stop for it?
Every time I have encountered this situation in real life, I have stopped for it.
So that makes you a lawful person, because it is about following the code as opposed to following what is the reality of the scenario.
Yeah, I mean, who am I to claim that I have like perfect knowledge of what's going on? Maybe there's a kid running around at night and I just can't see him.
So here's my answer, and I think it lines up with my stance even. I stop, but not because I feel like I need to abide by the law specifically. I do it because I need to make sure that I don't fuck up in the future. I just do it because it needs to be second nature to me.
So
like
the muscle memory.
Yes, like I turn on turn signals no matter like how, like if I'm like turning in a parking lot, you know, like I use my turn signal, you know, and like a lot of people don't feel like they need to do that and shit. It's like, no, I just do it because I don't want to accidentally not use my turn signal when I really need to do it. So that's how I feel. I'm trying to do my best for the humans around me.
So you want to choose of your own free will to follow the law.
I mean, yeah, if it's something that helps society, but also like if there's something fucked, like if running that stop sign was to somehow help someone who needed help, I would do it. But you know, it's. I mean, you know, I don't know exactly how it would, but you know, it's case by case.
Mm-hmm.
And real quick, I will just mention that I've also been messing around on my Analog Pocket, which I love my Analog Pocket. I love it so much. I've been messing around with another Pokemon ROM hack. I was seeing a lot of people talking it up, so I hopped on it. Emerald Seaglass, which is... I was prepared for it to be a bit more like of a shakeup, which was a little bit of a disappointment, I suppose. It is gorgeous. They use Gen 2 graphics for Gen 3. It is a ROM hack of Emerald. And they restructured some stuff, like the gym leaders are a little bit harder and all that. And they also make it so you can catch every Pokemon. I don't know why we're watching this guy. What the... Lorelai,
I don't know.
Is this? Who's this man?
I just looked up what Emerald Pokemon Seaglass Emerald was.
All right. But once you get past the initial, you can catch a lot more Pokemon, and so there's party variety and all that. It's the same game. It's just Emerald, but it looks different, and the Pokedex is bigger. And I mean, it's gorgeous. It's fucking gorgeous. But I'm playing more of it to see what else is different. I want to see what else happens, and if nothing happens, I'll just be like, okay, well, I mean, I already have a copy of Emerald that I can play. Sure, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, the thought of a better version of a game like that is appealing, but also I played through Emerald semi recently, and I had a good time with it, like base Emerald. So I'm not like, I need to play through it. I need to play through it again, but pretty.
Yeah.
Maybe in a few years. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm still probably going to finish this, though, because I'm sick in the head.
Yeah. That's been me the last few weeks, the last couple of weeks, too, because I did 2 Pokemon-themed shows in a row. One of them was the Pokemon Go Fest, and one of them was just a one run by a card company, so most of the booths were like card vendors, which, boy, there's nothing. Those guys do not make money. They literally just, somebody comes up to him with a briefcase. I watched the guy next to me drop like $3,000 on cards. And just like, it's like 90% trades and whatnot.
Bad out there.
But I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Scarlet over the last couple of weeks just because, I don't know, being there made me want to play Pokemon, and boy, it's simultaneously a better and a worse game on Switch 2, where there are just so many Pokemon out in the world that it becomes hard to navigate without getting in fights.
Yeah.
It's like, actually, maybe they should put a cap on this, because
they really should have.
There's like 100 of these things out there now instead of 12. It gets a little crowded with wild Pokemon, but it just reminds me that I genuinely think that's a really good game, and
it's solid.
Yeah, I kind of love it and continue to really, really just enjoy myself with it. I think the writing is fun, but the battling is fun. Going into raids with friends has been a lot of fun. Watching your character like sideways 2-dimensionally push a sandwich beside their head is funny every time.
It still looks so bad.
It's so bad, but there's a charm to it. It's not like it doesn't take away from the game. It kind of adds to it for me because, as I said, there's a charm to that isn't like, yes, it looks dumb, but it gets a chuckle out of me and puts a smile on my face, which is a good feeling. It's like,
I'm hopeful for Gen 10. I'm hopeful.
I really am. I'm really excited for whatever the next Pokemon Legends coming out. That game looks
ZA
fucking
looks really
fantastic.
Good. Yeah.
Arceus was honestly one of the first Pokemon games that I had played all the way through from start to finish and continued playing. Whereas you can add Scarlet to that list. And I have gone back on Sword and Shield, and I don't think those are bad games. Like, I really enjoy it. It helped me find a love of Pokemon, Arceus did, which I had never had in the past. Like, I've talked about it on the pod before that I've fallen off of Pokemon games almost every time, which is weird because I love Shin Megami Tensei and they're the same thing. It's just sometimes your Pokemon is a dick. But you got to catch them all. And it's nice just enjoying a thing for the sake of enjoying it and being around, like, it helps being around people who are excited about it all the time, which is why I love being on the pod when John talks about like weird Pokemon ROM hacks and shit.
Everyone should check out some Pokemon ROM hacks. There's some really cool ones. Like there's story-based ones if you want something that's more story-focused. There's stuff where it's just like, yeah, do you want to play Gen 8 but in Gen 3, so it's the Gen 3 sprites, but all the newer Pokemon, like people do that. Pokemon ROM hacks are amazing.
Like I've been enjoying hanging out with a friend of mine as she plays through Super Mario Mon, which is super dumb, and I fucking love it. It's fun to look at a thing that I used to kind of just not care about and find a love for it. And it's a really nice feeling.
What do you hope to see from Pokemon 10?
You know what I'd like to see? I would like to see something that does like the 9th gen, with having multiple stories going through, but if I want to get to the end of the game, I can just do one of those instead of having to do all three and stuff like that. I just, let me be able to focus on one thing at a time instead of having to progress all of them like alongside each other. Because the big problem with Scarlet for me is I did a bunch of one storyline, and then I went over to do another, and I'm like 30 levels ahead.
Yeah.
Or make it scale to me. Like, something.
I will be honest, I am just happy. I will be 100% happy if it is the quality of Gen 9, but just runs as well as it does now. Like, I just need it to run well on Switch 2. And that's all I need. I just need it to run good, and because Gen 9 had a fun story. It wasn't like the best story, because I still think Gen 7 is the best story. It had a good story, had really fun new Pokemon, cool mechanics. Like, I like terrestrialization. I would like for them to do something different, because like, for the story, Terra is fun, but it is like the worst possible fucking thing for competitive Pokemon, and it is hilarious. But they need to do something different for that. And if you don't know what terrestrialization is, it's basically like once per battle, you could just pop an effect that lets you change a Pokemon's type. Just once per battle, once per Pokemon. And it just completely destroys everything. There's like the competitive scene, the Smogon website, where they, will have votes and will do different bannings and stuff. They have banned more Pokemon this generation than I think every other generation combined. That might not be true, but it's like, it's getting there. It's getting there at this point. It's just crazy. It's wild. But yeah, I just wanted to, I wanted to continue in that direction. I would love for the story to be better. Like, just a good story, good, well-designed Pokemon, and a cool new gimmick, and that it runs well. That's all I ask for. I'm a simple man when it comes to Pokemon. Let's see here. We want to wrap up the news because the rest of it's not super giganto. All right, let's see here. Kind of mentioned it earlier, but so none of this is confirmed, but there was someone dug into a from a few weeks ago. There was a video talking about the CRT filter getting added to the or I think it was just like stuff getting added to the N64 Switch Online stuff, because you could do like rewind now and all that kind of stuff, and that wasn't on the Switch 1. That's Switch 2 only. And one of the things is like having a CRT filter. And in the section where they were turning the CRT filter on, there's a bunch of games blurred out in the background, because that's just how the menu looks. And people are thinking that they are seeing games in that menu that have not been confirmed yet for Switch Online. So this could just be baseless conjecture. People might be seeing things, but it does look like we may be getting Smash 64, Glover, Forsaken 64, and Donkey Kong 64 in the future for Switch Online.
Now, Smash is interesting to me if they have online multiplayer.
It does have online multiplayer.
That's what I'm talking about, because most of the Nintendo Switch Online games I would prefer to play by other methods, but one big advantage they do have is convenience multiplayer, because setting up netplay in a Nintendo 64 emulator is a bit of a pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm. And this is fairly seamless. Like, I haven't really messed with the online multiplayer stuff for a lot of these games, but I mean, I'm gonna do it when Smash 64 hits, if this is true, because, and I mean, I also hope that this means, if Smash 64 is on here, it'd be really cool if Melee was in the GameCube one. Like, as much as I think Melee fans are some of the greediest motherfuckers in the world, and I don't know if they really deserve it. At the same time, though, Melee's really cool. Melee is a really good game. Super Smash Bros. Melee is a really cool game. So, I'll take it. But I mean, I'm a little surprised that they haven't announced DK64 yet, because like, Donkey Kong Bonanza feels like it is such a continuation of what they were trying to do with DK64. So it's a little surprising that they weren't just like, oh, we're gonna put that out on Switch Online so you could play that and then get ready for Bonanza. But I think
the risk of that is that you play DK64, you get your Donkey Kong fill, and then you don't buy Bonanza.
Well, the thing is I think what will happen if they do that is you play DK64, you kind of go, oh, okay, I kind of see what they were doing, but this isn't amazing. And then you play Bonanza, and that looks really good. And I mean, maybe it is really good. If it is good, then you're like, oh, okay, then this is good. I don't know. But I mean, Glover. You could play Glover, maybe. Or Forsaken 64.
Why not?
Sure. Yeah, I'm mostly just looking forward to Smash, of course, because I'm a big Smash Bros. Head, but I'm looking forward to that, to play with people online for sure. And the last bit of news here is just sort of a confirmation of something not happening. The big man in charge at Sonic Team, Takashi Iizuka, said recently to not expect remakes of either Sonic Adventure games. Just to read the quote, "I'm appreciative of everyone who likes the Sonic Adventure series, but when I think about what it would take to bring that game up to the standards and expectations of what the modern gaming audience would want, I think it would be about as much time and energy as it would be to make a new title. So part of me is thinking maybe I should just make a new title, and that's why there's no plans." And I mean, I will say, I think it's less modern sensibilities and more that I don't think that they would be able to make a remake that makes the Sonic Adventure fans happy. Like, I think that there would be some little aspect of it that would not be enough for them. Like, the people that love Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. And if they screw up even the most minuscule aspect of it, that would be it. So, I think that's really why.
As a Sonic Adventure fan, you are correct. I would be mad, and they would certainly do it wrong. I am a little surprised they haven't just done straight ports to the Switch.
That is true. I mean, at the very least, I could see them maybe putting those GameCube versions on the Switch Online, but I also know that those are, people argue over the quality of those versions compared to the Dreamcast versions.
Yeah, but Nintendo people wouldn't care.
That's true, but also I just realized they should put Dreamcast on Switch Online.
Oh,
if they could do GameCube, they could do Dreamcast.
They could.
I mean, they already have Sega Genesis.
Exactly. The world would change if they all of a sudden just said they should do Sega Saturn and just put Panzer Dragoon Saga on there, and that's it.
Yeah.
You don't want Sega Rally?
Some of those, like the what's it called on Switch 2, where they added GameCube and there are 3 games.
I mean, they're adding more. They just put Mario Strikers on there, which is a great game.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to do more. They announced more. Like, they're going to do both of the Pokemon games. They're going to do Chibi Robo. They're going to do Mario Sunshine. There's more stuff. They're going to do more stuff. So, but again, they should do Dreamcast on Switch Online. They should. I just realized that. Like, that never crossed my mind.
I need to access the Sonic Adventure official website on a Nintendo Switch.
Absolutely. All right, let's see here. Lily, I guess you're the last person here. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about before we wrap up?
I could do my indie shout-outs for games that I think are interesting.
Absolutely, go ahead.
We're in the midst of a Steam summer sale, so you have your opportunity to rep some quality indie games. Now, leapfrogging off of Crystal's Affection for R4, I have 2 car-oriented games and then 1 wild card. So the first one that came to mind was Parking Garage Rally Circuit. So that game is really, really neat because it is very much doing the super, super arcadey model of racing. But what really kind of makes it novel is that it is, 1, all about drifting, which drifting is my jam in racing games. But the premise of the game is that they're all like micro courses. So you have to do drifting in a space that is as small as a parking lot. And right. So when you're doing multiplayer races, it's all like collisionless. So it's always ghost racing, even if you are playing together in real time. So I think that game's really neat. It does not have a demo, but It was originally an itch.io free game that you can find by the same name and see if you like it. That game on Steam is currently $10.19. Oh, wait, nope, that's the other one. I lied. It is $7.49.
Even better.
The next game I wanted to talk about is $10.19. And that ties almost into the Sonic conversation with Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom. So Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom is a indie platformer where you play as a wind-up little taxi. And basically the concept is it is a collect-a-thon platformer where you don't have a jump button. You have to obey the physics of being a car, so you basically need to constantly look for organic ramps in order to jump in that game. But then it also is intentionally kind of going for that like super saturated like Sonic Adventure style like color scheme. That game is also really neat. It also has a demo. The last game I want to shout out, this is the most economical choice at $2.99 American, is Kill the Crows. Kill the Crows, you know the trend of the Vampire Survivor likes that were like infesting Steam for like the past eternity?
Yeah.
So Kill the Crows is kind of proximally adjacent to that kind of game. You know, you are being attacked by a never-ending, conglomeration of enemies, and you're picking up upgrades. But it's also kind of like a twin stick where you are managing, like, shooting all of these enemies, and that is all in service of basically building up to, like, an Overwatch ult where you can target a bunch of enemies around you and auto-shoot them. And I hear the gamers like this, but it does, in fact, have a dodge roll in it. So it might be one of the best games ever made.
Could be.
So those are my 3 shoutouts. Use those Steam sales judiciously.
Sounds cool. Sounds very cool. Anything else that you want to shout out? Because again, you're kind of the last one here. We've covered everything else. You have Clair Obscur written down here. Did you? How far did you get into that?
Oh dear. So Clair Obscur. So this also feeds back into my depression, circling Dragon Quest. But Clair Obscur, unfortunately, I was shocked, and I say unfortunately for a particular reason here. I was shocked that game runs really good on my computer, and I have no idea how. My computer is super out of date. The SSD in it is like a first generation SSD when that concept was new. I still get 60 FPS in that. I have no idea how that's happening, but I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
As far as how far I got into it, that game kind of astounded me because, like, in the modern era, we have kind of forgotten that, like, video games are allowed to operate in realms of, like, abstraction, and people have a unending amount of haterism for abstraction because they basically want video games to be like reality too. I was shocked when that game had like an unrealistic like overworld map, like something that you would see in like old JRPGs. Here's the thing. My favorite FromSoft game of all time is Sekiro. I'm going to have positive things to say about the dodge and parry game. I promise you this. And the dodge and parry game is very good. I think it does the thing that a lot of modern written RPGs have, where occasionally the characters are maybe like 5% too self-aware with how they're written. But this game actually kind of has an excuse in my mind, because like the basic starting premise of this game is kind of like, hey, you just witnessed an extremely traumatic event, go and live through a different traumatic event. So I can kind of understand why the characters are a little bit more emotionally raw than like your average Gerald of Rivia. So I think that I am willing to forgive the writing such that it is at this current point, but I've been really enjoying myself with it. I think this is the first RPG in a while where I have engaged with combat on purpose, just because the combat was pretty fun.
I mean, you were just talking about how frustrating Dragon Quest was, where you were just putting it on auto, and now you're playing this game and you're like, oh, I'm doing the combat, I'm involved here, and you're having a good time with it.
Well, like, the thing is, I'm not usually, like, a build crafter kind of person. I'm very much the kind of person where I'm like, well, this character seems like someone who would use, like, a lance, I guess. Mm-hmm. They have a lance personality. This kind of game is interesting for me because it has, like, the build flexibility that you can get from a lot of other games, because it's got, like, the skill trees, it's got, like, you can find the weapon that specifically slots into how you are building this character X, Y, or Z. But then it also, like, it does a thing that I feel like a lot of games forget about. So, like, if we're going to talk, like, RPG design for a second, and you know, this is in my best interest to once again make this a 3-hour-long podcast. Most games have, you know, the Trinity. You have the healer, you have the tank, you have the DPS. A lot of those games forget that you can kind of have, like, micro interactions between party members that are beyond, like, what their role is. So having abilities that do things, like, as granular as this person gets a buff while with this particular attack while the enemy is on fire. And while the enemy's on fire, this person can instantly refresh, like, their action gauge by expending some of the burn on that person. And this person can, you know, instantly heal if the enemy has the status effect. And it kind of makes you have, like, this amorphous, like, Rubik's Cube of, like, a combat engine. Because, like, again, I know a lot of people have, like, goggles on at all times where, like, it instantly turns their brain off if they see that a game is turn-based, because turn-based is boring.
It's bad, no.
But this kind of game is kind of like, obviously it's not the most complicated RPG ever made. Like, real, like, RPG sickos might call this, like, a little simplistic, but, you know, they can go chew on the beige carpet that is Disgaea. But, like, this kind of game, is interesting to me, particularly because it kind of captures that maxim that you should be making interesting decisions even in the micro moments of these kinds of games. And basically having to choose, like, you know, all of these big decisions that interlock with each other is just kind of good game design in my mind, because when I came off the back of something like Dragon Quest, where kind of a lot of the time the most optimal option was hit the attack button until they are dead, having enemies that deal damage in a specific way where if you are not paying attention, you will die in, like, 2 attacks, it's enjoyable by comparison, and I don't like the idea of playing this game up by putting another game down. But I do genuinely think that, like, it's not just, like, the darkness or the ambience that specifically makes this, like, an enjoyable game. It is also just the fact that I feel incentivized to actually bask in things in this game, with the ideas that it presents, with the world building, with the character choices, with all of these kinds of things. And I think in that way, it's a game much more made for me than Dragon Quest was, even though Dragon Quest is very well made. And I think that kind of ultimately boils down to, you know, systems that beg for you to play with them like the toy that they are. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I haven't gotten super far. I have played at this point 5 hours in total. I think I cleared the first I don't know, dungeon-like space, because all of these are like big open areas that's not horribly claustrophobic at all. But I have officially 3 party members, if that tells you where I'm at.
Yeah. No, I think
I haven't played it yet, so it doesn't tell me anything. But
yeah.
I just wanted to make conversation.
Yeah, no. One of the things I love most about that game is the build crafting. Like, it is nice having. I have always liked games with like in-depth build crafting. That, yes, there are very specific ways that you can just absolutely break that game, but there are also a whole lot of ways to just make it a hell of a lot more fun in, like, with your builds. Like, I don't always like to do the hey, I made my character an unkillable god. I sometimes like doing the, yes, I'm going to do a ton of damage, but I have to actually get good to do that, rather
Glass
than,
cannon.
hey, I chose the right abilities that just makes enemies die right away. And there's so many ways to do that in this game that it is legitimately like one of my favorite experiences. It's very weird because I've like posted like mildly critical things about it, which are like critical of like, yeah, I knew where the story was going 5 minutes in and stuff like that. But also like, God, the game, like, I constantly talk about how much fun that game is. Like, it is shocking how much stuff there is in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And how well put together it is.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing that it runs that well on your PC actually makes me excited to maybe play through again on PC, because it's really nice having well optimized PC games, because there aren't a lot of them.
I mean, the one thing that I had to change, and I was so ecstatic that I could do this. Like, so I don't have like a modern graphics card. I still have like a 1070 in my PC. I cannot indulge in the rays of the ray tracing, and I just was like, this is kind of unfortunate. The game is still clearly like trying to do ray tracing stuff, or at least something adjacent to that for the lighting. And when I initially started playing, the shadows in that game were so messed up. Like, everyone looked like they just had bugs crawling all over them constantly because of how the shadows were trying to work. I looked on the Steam community page, and in 10 minutes, someone was just like, here's the code that you can post into an INI that just gives you normal, non-freak shadows. and it reminded me of an era of the internet where you could just Google something and actually get an answer.
Editing an INI file to fix a game's graphics is such a... There's something about it that really speaks to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it looks great. I'm running the game on medium with like the DLSS stuff on, and it runs fine.
That's all we can ask for.
I do have a big question. I have notes.
Okay.
Why are Loon's feet out at all times? Why did that need to happen?
I asked that a lot. I was very convinced. It's because she floats, so her feet never touch the ground, I guess. I don't know. It's weird.
But like, listen, even if I could fly, like, let me just be completely here. Even if I could fly, I don't know that I would want to be divested of shoes, like, conceptually. Like, can she only fly if she doesn't wear shoes?
Keep playing to find out.
I mean, it better be answered by the end of the game. I mean, at the same time, as Lorelai said, they're kind of doing that one thing that Nier did, that kind of like gets under my skin a little bit, where every 5 seconds 9S is doing like a "were you paying attention" test, where it's like, I can't believe the robots have feelings, 2B. That's crazy. I didn't think robots could have feelings. I sure hope that's not the moral of the game.
Yeah, like my thing with that game is that I overall don't think it's like, its story is really good, but it's also extremely generic. Like the fact that, like, I was sitting down with my girlfriend, and within like by the end of Act 1, we literally listed off every single thing we thought was going to happen in the story, and every bit of it ended up being right.
Ain't that just how it is, you know?
And I don't think that's a problem.
I mean, I think in a lot of ways we have this kind of thing where, like, yeah, we do want stories to fundamentally surprise us, but also being able to follow a story is also an important part of story design.
Yep. Mm. And like, it's an interesting thing. Like the reason I the only reason I found it to be a problem was the amount of people who were like talking about it like it was this revelation of the kind of story that's never been told before, and it was the most like, oh, you're just telling me that you've never actually played an RPG. Like,
it's just people being insane about JRPGs. Yeah. Like, it's some weird, I don't know. It's
also, the internet is a place where it feels like nobody has their own opinion. They just wait for a couple popular streamers to all start saying the exact same thing and then parroting that.
Mm-hmm.
Lorelai, the game has mocap actors crying. That means it has a good story.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, I don't know.
The Daredevil guy is the Daredevil guy, and I love the Daredevil guy.
I mean, I don't know how to tell you this, but JRPGs are solved. We already figured this out. Like, they made Chrono Trigger already. Every indie developer who's ever existed is just trying to make Chrono Trigger again.
Yeah, exactly. They made Suikoden 2. We can stop.
They made SMT4.
They made Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne.
I like 4 better than 3.
I mean, it's okay. You're allowed to be wrong.
All right.
I mean, you can play the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters and experience what those games were like for the first time if you were experiencing a pupil collapse at the same time.
I just ordered a copy of that for the Switch because it was like $40.
I like the Pixel remasters. My biggest issue with them was, honestly, I wish they were the GBA versions.
Funnily enough, like, my particularities for these kinds of games are I really need the music to carry the scene. Because, again, these are all, like, I do not say this as an insult. I want to make that abundantly clear. Early Final Fantasy games are kind of like the equivalent of watching a sad story conducted by sock puppets. They're just little pixel puppets bouncing around the screen, and the dialogue needs to essentially intimate what is actually happening. And if you make every scene, like, if you grant every scene the gravitas of having an orchestra following you around, every scene is now the most important scene in existence. And
yeah,
it's this kind of thing where video game music, especially of like the 16-bit and earlier generations, was kind of like a musical genre defined by its limitations. And the same thing with modern graphics occurs where the more you are capable of seeing, the less there is realm for imagination. So if you could hear like Terra playing for like the first time, even though that track is really simple, it carries a lot of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's carrying emotion, you can almost imagine instruments that don't exist, and all of that ambiguity explodes the second that we have like a big band orchestra following you around at all times.
I am with you on that. I actually, like, I really, really wish that the old music, it did not need to be redone. You did not need to be. The only scene that should have the full orchestra in any of those games is the opera house scene. Just have the opera for that. Nothing else needs the update.
Sure. Well, I'll let you know how I feel about it once I get my copy in the mail, because I ordered one.
Hell yeah.
Because it was like half off. But, you know.
I mean, actually, I don't know if I know this. I don't think you've played many Final Fantasies, right?
No. I have played... So I have put my hands on 6. I got a good ways into it, but I was playing it on my Vita. I was playing like whatever. I think there was like
the PSP PlayStation version, something
like that. And then my file got wiped, so I never finished it. I have played. I got like halfway through the 7 remake, and I pretty much 100%ed 13. So those are my Final Fantasy opinions.
I mean, I as much as I have opinions based on like the quality of, you know, what port you're playing, like Final Fantasy at this point has been ported to everything with a screen. Like I'm pretty sure I could find a port for my smart fridge at this point.
Yeah.
I do still think that all warts considered, those games are kind of permanently extant as the first time you experienced them. And so I do genuinely hope you have a good time with that Pixel remaster, but I will not be like one of those like Plymouth zealots that's like you can only experience it in the ideologically pure way if you play the Game Boy Advance version. Mm-hmm. But only the Game Boy Advance version with this specific SKU.
Yeah.
Look, I'm the person who still calls it Final Fantasy 3, and I always will, because I did not save my allowance for months to buy Final Fantasy 6. But I'm not one of those crazy people that gets mad when people call it Final Fantasy 6.
You can't even call it Final Fantasy 3 anymore because of woke.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking woke ruining it for me.
It's so funny Sorry, go on.
Scott is saying in the chat that they did add an option in the Pixel remasters to use the original BGM. So
yes,
they finally patched that in, thank God.
I guess so.
This discussion is very funny because usually I am on the other side of this. I'm someone who's very persnickety about remasters. I'm like, oh, the original kind of looked better, doesn't it? But for Final Fantasy VI, I kind of prefer the look of the Pixel remaster. I think the original sprites are a little too busy. And stunning everyone into silence and hating me.
I mean, I just didn't have anything to say. It's fine.
I mean, you're kind of right. Like, I mean, some of those. I went back and I've been playing the PSP ports of 1, 2, and 3, the original games. And those are such wild experiences compared to the thing. Like one having a weird super boss that you could fight 10 different ways is like such a weird thing, and I love it.
I mean, I also think that there is a lot ado in like the Discoursian internet kind of way where people talk about things like, oh, well, those sprites were originally intended to be seen on a CRT, and if you're not seeing it on a CRT, you're not seeing the sprites correctly. And I feel like in some senses, that's a little overblown. The impact of that is what it is, and in some cases, it was intentional. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like the busyness of the old sprites kind of lent itself to that kind of the thing I described earlier, where it's like it forces you to imagine more detail than actually exists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Let's wrap this up with some questions. We did get a few things in the Discord. If you want to send in a question, you can go to your email client of choice and send it to podcast@gamesline.net, or you could join our Discord server. Here, I will link it in the chat. It is the gamezone.zone. Type that into your web browser and it'll bring you straight there. And then we have a little thread where you can ask questions. Where Cello Buster did just straight up post a GIF of King Harkinian asking, "I wonder what's for dinner." And then, yes, this is my question. So, what's everyone having for dinner?
As soon as this podcast is over, I will immediately get back to the curry I made from scratch, because I've been into making Japanese curry lately, and so that's just been my vegetable injection matrix as of late, because I just kind of need any excuse I can to put broccoli into different formats.
This is good.
I
Lorelai.
am going to be eating some leftover Korean japchae, which we made last night, which is absolutely fantastic. I like glass noodles and steak and good stir fry, and it's delicious.
How about you, Crystal?
I am going to make a vegetable soup with lots and lots of chili powder.
Man, I feel like a fucking asshole. I am going to go eat a salad that I bought a couple of days ago and put in the fridge. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well,
Look,
what kind of salad is it?
Yeah.
It's like a one of those like southern salads. It has like beans and peppers and corn in it and chicken. That's what I'm
Sounds
having.
tasty.
Yeah.
I love a good
Catalina
chicken
salad dressing on it because I put Catalina on everything.
Oh, hell yeah.
There you go. That's what's for dinner. It is pretty good. And also, Solon said, just got back from the Velteling theme park in the Netherlands, and I saw this absolute jongler. What is your favorite jester, joker, or juggler of mirth in video games? I don't know if you want to show an image of this jester. But how's everyone feeling about jesters and or mirth makers recently? Not clowns. We're talking about jesters here. I mean, shout out to Jevil in Deltarune. I've been, I played through that chapter a couple weeks ago, and I mean, all the Deltarune music has been stuck in my head so bad. But yeah, like World Revolving comes back to me a lot. Jevil is a little bastard, but that song is so good.
I feel like every week the answer to my question is found in Tales of Berseria, but I really like Maggie Lou's design. She's got books for a skirt.
She's pretty good.
She counts as a clown in my book. She's an entertainer.
She's very jester-esque. Absolutely. Yeah, she counts. Absolutely. She has themes of circus.
For me, God, I guess since we've been talking about it, now I just keep thinking about Kefka, who I genuinely, God, what a good.
Is he a jester or is he a clown?
He's a jester.
Okay.
Like, he's definitely got more jester vibes than clown vibes.
Okay.
I mean, he's the only Final Fantasy villain that just straight up wins.
There's Jack Chaos.
Oh, yeah. But Jack Chaos isn't a villain. He's a good guy.
Oh, he's a villain.
He wants to kill Chaos.
He wants to kill Chaos. And then become Chaos so that he can teach the Warriors of Light to be the true heroes.
Yeah.
He just has really strong kayfabe.
He's just an angry good guy. Yes, exactly. You gotta keep it kayfabe.
Crystal, do you have a favorite jester?
Probably the Harlequin from Assassin's Creed Brotherhood multiplayer.
Oh, hell yes.
Silly animations.
Oh, fuck. Now I want to play Assassin's Creed multiplayer. That game ruled. I'm sorry.
They should make a new one.
If I am prohibited from doing a Tales of Berseria answer, I'll say Harl from Chrono Cross.
You're not prohibited, but you can say that if you want. You can say more than one.
Well, then I have two answers because she is French. French.
As any true jester is.
The jester from that one Lemmy skit. That's technically a video game.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. That. Oh no! Wait, no. It was a mime. I think. Right? No. I'm thinking about the. No. He was a clown. The like extremely old clown who like freaked out Hillary Clinton that one time in that one video. I like. I'm thinking about that guy. He's like a 90-something-year-old dude, and he was just like, "Clown is more difficult than mime," or whatever. And she's just like sitting there, and just like,
Yes.
God. All right. Does anyone in the chat have a quick question, or shall we wrap this up? Hit us with something, chat, because we got to do audience interaction. We're having fun here. We're doing stuff. We're interacting.
If you want them to interact with you got to do that one thing with the GIF that's been circulating of the guy doing a backflip onto his desk.
Yep.
I can't do that. I don't want to break my desk. All right, no questions then. All right, we're good. We're wrapping this up.
Good.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. If you like what we're doing, we have a whole freaking website where you can go onto it and look at things that we do. Gamesline.net. You can go on there and check it out. You can go to our Twitter or Blue Sky and follow us on there. Blue Sky is what we like these days. Blue Sky, it's gamesline.net. We prefer there. If you do still use Twitter, it's at the Gamesline. We have a Tumblr, gamesline.tumblr.com. Facebook.com/Gamesline if you are on Facebook I use Facebook Marketplace, and that just kind of upsets me sometimes because there's not really good stuff on there anymore. Yeah, we did actually hit 500 followers on Blue Sky, so, yay! Yay! Good job, everybody.
Yay!
And, we have our YouTube and Twitch where, if you want to watch us, if you want to watch this live, if you're not here right now, but you do want to be next week, it's twitch.tv/GameslineTV. We stream our podcast live at 5 p.m. CST, or I guess that would be 6 EST, right? Am I doing that correctly? 1 hour forward?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. If you don't want to watch it live, but you do want to watch it, we upload these up onto YouTube, youtube.com/@the Gamesline. You have to put the @ in there, or it doesn't work. You can also listen to us on whatever podcast platform you so choose. If you just want to listen to our voices, you don't want to look at us, you could just listen to the voices. And if you like what we're doing, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/Gamesline. It's $3. You get access to our anime podcast nice and early, and you support what we do. Because we're doing a bunch of crazy-ass stuff in the coming weeks. And we've been spending money on it. We've been putting stuff out there. And we want to do more stuff. So, your money turns into dumb shit.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Well,
but dumb.
I mean, it helps us do so much more stuff, like doing the live stream podcast, things like that.
Yes.
More people being able to be involved in the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's so nice, so great having the help with things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it helps us a ton. So thank you everybody who does give, and hopefully more folks hop on that Patreon. We have a Discord server, which I did post in the chat, thegamezone.zone. Type that into your web browser. It'll bring you straight there. And you can come yell at us and say, hey, post. And then I go, oh, okay, we will. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we do. And thank you to Melt Channel/Magic Circuit for our theme song Crush off of the album Magic is Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. I, again, don't know if they're really cooking anything up new yet, but I bet maybe they will if you go buy their music at Bandcamp Friday, first Friday of every month. Just saying. Lorelai, where can people find you?
Hey, you can find me at twitch.tv/Judgment Scythe, judgmentscythe.bluesky, there. And those are pretty much everywhere I'm active these days. Yeah, come by, hang out.
Crystal, how about you?
You can find me at Arcane Crystal on Blue Sky. Listen to the Book of Medora podcast. The FF8 episodes are coming out now if you want to hear 3 people playing through the game doing in-depth thematic analysis.
Wonderful. Lily, how about you?
I can be found at gallisdoctora.bsky.social.
And I'm John. Is it at or hang on? Yes, john.gamesline.net on Blue Sky, which is cute. I like that I have that.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And that's what I do. I mean, if you join the Discord server, you could probably yell at me about stuff if you so choose. You could say, John,
get a better salad.
I played that Pokemon ROM hack, and that sure was hacky.
Yeah, John, you don't talk shit about Emerald Seaglass. It's gorgeous. And then I say, I think it's gorgeous too, but I want more sometimes. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel about it. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Gamesline podcast. Have a good one.
I tried really hard, guys. I tried to make it 3 hours long. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
You failed.
You did it. Close. Have a good night, everybody.